those of you that support T1, and for some reason, whatever reason that it might be, you happen to know who I am, you know that I have a difficult relationship with T1, and especially with their fans, especially with their Korean fans, apparently, for some reason. Don't ask me why, just do. Anyway, despite the fact that I speak literally no Korean and very rarely do it in videos, today we're going to be talking about T1's macro, why simultaneously it's the best and the worst in the world right now. And just in general, actually, pretty much throughout the history of this roster, which, given it's been nearly 2.5 years, is pretty crazy to think about. And so the reason is relatively simple, but we're going to talk about it in relationship with their second team and the issues with their second team that their second team's having. My second team takes are going to be a little bit more controversial, I think. I do think that if you're a K-Draw watcher, for example, you will absolutely hate my takes on T1's Academy. Or if you're a Reckless fan, actually. So get excited for that, because that's another group of people I have beef with. Again, for basically no reason. But anyway, T1's macro is all down to what Faker sees. And when I say that, I don't mean what Faker sees. Obviously, Zeus, Ona, Gumiushi, and Kerry will feed him information. But at the end of the day, all the shot calling comes from Faker. And we can see that without Faker, it falls apart completely. We saw with them with Poby last year. Poby's actually a pretty good mechanical player, and they got destroyed. So, why is that good? What are the benefits of that? It means that they all know what they're doing at any given moment. They have a succinct plan. They follow it. They listen to what Faker says. Faker's pretty good at seeing and calling things, so it works. It works very well. They always know what they're doing. They're not ever stuck in two minds, like you might see with someone like a team like G2. They're not ever stuck, like, just being silly. So, like, it's good, right? The issue with that is what happens when you don't have Faker. We've seen that before. And the issues with that are also what happens when Faker stops seeing things the way the game actually is. And we are kind of seeing that. I don't want to say it too loudly, but if you look at the LCK, it has been for a while looking a bit out of touch with what the actual meta is. There is also aspects of that being true with the LPL and the LEC and all leagues, really. But the LCK does have a major issue with that, and it'll be interesting to see whether Faker again can turn up at Worlds knowing the real meta. But we'll see. That's something to be seen. Obviously, MSI as well will come before that, but MSI, it's a lot harder to say whether it's the real meta because you've only really got 4 real teams at that tournament this year. Obviously, the LPL and LCK teams, no LEC representatives. As harsh as it is, they're not real. And I'm saying that as a massive LEC fan, by the way. But yeah, and so let's talk about it with relationship with their academy team and what their academy team is struggling with. People are going to hate me for this, but the main issue with that academy team is undoubtedly Reckless. And why is that? Well, it's because you look at everything he does, and he's still got the issues he's always had as an ADC. He doesn't know that if you back off of the rest of your team, if you back off when the rest of the team is engaging, you're causing more issues than you're causing more problems than you are fixing them. And when you can't even speak Korean, like, surely you just go with it. Again, I'm not going to try and harp too much on Reckless because it's not just a him issue on that team. And actually, when you look at the laning phases, they're actually still doing very well, despite his inability to speak Korean. And, like, there are other things as well. Like, it's not that bad. I don't know. This is meant to be a macro video, and it's sort of turned into me hating on Reckless because it's not. There's no script. But I don't know. I'm trying not to hate. They have an issue where they're clearly calling things. The communication isn't going for whatever reason. It doesn't work in the same way. I don't listen to the voice comms because that would be unproductive. Because basically I don't speak Korean. I do speak some, but I don't speak enough. But it seems unproductive. Whatever that shot calling is, it does seem unproductive, and that does seem to be the main thing that's losing them games. Obviously, there are mechanical issues as well, and people are going to. Reckless doesn't always make the bad decisions, and you can sort of see that it's a lot of indecision within the team that isn't present in T1's main roster. And again, going back to T1's main roster, that is one of their strengths. I am repeating myself a lot, but I think it's worth trying to get this point through. T1, their main strength is their lack of indecision. You see it at Worlds, you see it everywhere. Like T1, their big strength as a roster is mechanical goats being led around by the goat. So, yeah. We'll see if this ever gets published. If it does, enjoy it. If it doesn't, oh well, see it.